Ride along each week as we share proven strategies to strengthen your business, energize your team, and create the business success you've been dreaming about. And now, here's your host, Rich Allen.
How are your employees feeling about the impact your business is having on those you serve? Welcome to the Ultimate Business Tune-Up Podcast, where our one and only goal is to help you tune up your business so you can have the long-lasting success and fulfillment that comes from owning a solid, profitable, and sustainable business. Each week, we dive deep into a single topic related to improving your business, improving your team engagement, or improving your relationship with your customers. These last 2 weeks, we've been discussing the recent ruling by the Federal Trade Commission to ban all non-compete clauses issued by companies to their employees. And while this FTC ruling may never see the light of day, it is causing quite a stir among business owners who are concerned about retaining their team members. But rather than just complain or get frustrated, I'm recommending that every business owner use this warning shot as a reason to double down on creating a work environment that supports and builds a radically engaged team. Last week, I shared what I believe are the Gear 2 or Level 2 statements that define how an individual employee feels about their team members, their supervisors and managers, and their long-term prospects to stay with your company. These statements come from my research on what I found that employees are asking themselves and constantly assessing about their current position in any company that we as business owners must understand and address if we want them to be 100% radically engaged in their role. If you missed these last 2 podcast episodes, I'm going to strongly suggest that you go back and listen to them to get these Level 1 and Level 2 statements firmly locked into your brain. If you don't, you'll likely never get your team members to give you their full effort and commitment. Now, this week, I want to dive deeper into Level 3, or as I call it, Gear 3, statements that every employee is asking and assessing on a daily basis. These Gear 3 statements are related to whether the business is serving their customers well and if the business is making a difference in the community and world we all live in. Very much like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, every employee has some base level requirements that must be met in order for them to level up to focus on a life of more significance. The last 2 weeks, we've covered these base level needs as Gear 1 and Gear 2 statements. Only when your team members feel good about these Gear 1 and Gear 2 statements will they turn their focus and attention to the highest gear. This highest gear is Gear 3, our community and our customers. Like the other 2 gears, I've identified 12 statements that your employees are going to rate in their head, if not verbally, to determine whether their current employer is the right fit for them. Let's cover each of these Gear 3 statements today and talk briefly about why they're so important to your employees' satisfaction with the impact they're having on your customers and their community. As I walk through these 12 statements, think about how well you and your company are doing in these areas and make note of those where you could use some improvement or help. Statement 1 is, we understand our customers' biggest challenges. Your employees want to know that they're helping the customers they serve solve their biggest challenges. It may not seem that important on the surface, but no one wants to simply be representing a product or service that doesn't solve a big problem. Oftentimes, as business owners, we underestimate how impactful this is to an employee's self-esteem. No one wants to spend their time doing work that doesn't matter. We all want to make a difference. Our job is to make sure the offering that we're promoting is solving big problems, not small or insignificant ones. Statement number 2 is, we have a clear idea of our ideal customer. As the business owner, you've probably spent hours defining and describing your ideal customer. It's an important element of having a solid business. This statement is asking the question, do you share the definition and understanding of your ideal customer with your team members? When you clearly communicate this to your team, it allows them to make better decisions and serve your customers better. And they feel better knowing with certainty that they're in alignment with you on this. Statement number 3 is, we know who our toughest competitors are and why. We've all got tough competitors. If we didn't, we'd have 100% market share. So who are your toughest competitors, and what exactly are they doing that's making them so difficult to compete with? Make sure your team members know and understand this well. Nothing is worse than having your team members represent you in the marketplace and get surprised by a competitor who blows them away. This can be very frustrating, not to mention embarrassing to those who work for you. If they know, they can be prepared. This matters to them in a big way. Statement number 4 is, we are aware of the trends in our industry. There are trends in every industry. Your industry may be getting more challenging or seeing an uptick in competitors or dealing with higher interest rates. Whatever these trends are in your industry, you'll be far ahead if you share them regularly with your team members. They like to be in the know, and sharing these industry trends with them is not only easy, but will help them perform better. Statement number 5 is, we have developed processes to achieve success for our customers. Every business operates by processes. Whether you've written them down or not, they're there. And far too often, business owners are reluctant to change their processes. It may be because they're difficult to change or because it takes hard work and effort to review and change existing processes. But if your processes are old and stale, they're probably not serving your customers as well as they could be. If you want your team members to be truly engaged, make sure your processes are solid, up-to-date, and effective in the eyes of your customer. Statement number 6 is, we take pride in doing great work for our customers. This seems like a no-brainer. No one wants to do average work for their customers, but in many cases, that's just what your customers are getting. How do I know? Because I see some of the more progressive companies and the work they do for their customers. If you're not asking, what else could or should we be doing for our customers, then you're probably missing the mark in this area. Statement number 7 is, we are actively involved in improving our processes to achieve greater customer success. I mentioned processes earlier. Clearly, they're important and must be effective and efficient from your customer's perspective. But they also must be constantly reviewed and improved with your ideal customer at the center of your improvement ideas. If you haven't changed your primary processes in the past 12 months, you're probably overdue for some change. When we constantly review and refresh our processes, our team members gain confidence in our business and the impact we're having. Statement number 8 is, we have aligned our success metrics with those of our customers. What metrics are you tracking and measuring in your business? Are they aligned with the success your customer is looking for? If not, you may have a big opportunity for improvement here. Team members don't want to track and measure things that don't matter. No one likes to do busy work, and if your metrics aren't aligned with your customer's success, they can look a lot like busy work. Create this alignment with your metrics, and your team will be more energized and excited about tracking and reporting the results. Statement number 9 is, we are actively engaged with our best customers. Oftentimes, business owners reserve their best customers for their personal involvement. Are you guilty of this? You have a really big, important customer, so you're their key contact in the business. If they have an issue or concern, they have your cell phone number. While this sounds like a reasonable approach, it turns off your team members and makes them feel like you don't trust them. If you want them to feel great about being on your team, involve them with your best customers. Statement number 10 is, we regularly over-deliver on the promise to our customers. Recently, I asked a group of business owners if they over-delivered on their promises to their customers. And I was shocked when one of them asked me, why would I do that? Why would I give something away that they would otherwise pay for? But they weren't on the front lines, taking their customers' calls and fixing their problems. Yet when I talk to the team members, they live for the moment where they can surprise their customers by doing something extra or something special, something they thought they would have to pay for. This may be one that takes some thinking, but just know that your team feels more empowered when they can make decisions that gift your customers something that they weren't expecting to get. Statement number 11 is, we receive regular feedback from our customers. I know there are many different opinions on customer feedback surveys and whether they're worth the time and effort. But there's no disagreement that when you do get feedback from your customers, you must share it with your team. The good and the bad. They truly want to know. The lack of feedback is like mowing the lawn without having someone tell you how good it looks. You do it, you think you did a great job, but next week you've got to go do it all over again just like before, and then again the next week, and on and on. After a while, you start thinking, why should I bother? And you start cutting corners. Your team members do the same thing when they don't get feedback from the customers they serve. And lastly, statement number 12 is, we celebrate our customers' success. Here's one you probably weren't ready for. Are you celebrating when your customer wins big? My bet is you don't even know when they win big. But what I've come to realize is that your team members want to know when your customers win, and they want to celebrate with them. Your job as the business owner is to find a way to make that happen. Don't just celebrate your success, celebrate the success of those you serve. So there you have it, 12 statements that your employees are asking themselves about whether they feel like the work they're doing is making a difference to your customers and in the community you serve. I encourage you to review these 12 statements, take them seriously, and do whatever's necessary to make your employees respond to each of these with a resounding absolutely yes. Anything less than that, and they're going to be questioning whether there's another place that fits them better. If you need some help thinking this through for your business, don't hesitate to reach out and ask. I'd be glad to walk you through some ideas that would make the level 3 or gear 3 statements not only satisfying for your team, but better yet, get them to be enthusiastic about staying with you for many years to come. Now, before we go, 2 quick asks. Share this podcast with your fellow business owners. I'm trying to get these free business tips to as many business owners as possible. I want every business owner to be successful, and this is my gift to you and to them. Thanks for passing this along. And lastly, please leave a review on this podcast. The more thumbs up this podcast gets, the more it will be found when someone's stuck or struggling and looking for advice. Your review can help make this happen. Thanks for joining me today. Be sure to tune in next week when we're going to discuss qualifying new prospects. You won't want to miss it. Meanwhile, if you have a question, suggestion, or would simply like to connect, shoot me an email at rich@tourtoprofit.com. Now go make it a great week, and whatever you do, ride hard.
Thank you for listening to the Ultimate Business Tune-Up. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future episodes. In the meantime, find more resources at tourtoprofit.com and connect with Rich by sending a message to rich@tourtoprofit.com. Until next time, ride hard.